Welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. We're finally getting a little bit of a glimpse into why Kyrsten Sinema decided to leave the Democrat Party. And it's not exactly surprising. It seems as though Kyrsten Sinema has come to the conclusion that Democrats just don't care. And I agree absolutely with this conclusion. They pretend to be the moral standard on every single issue. Democrats care. Democrats care about people and the suffering of people. But whenever it matters most for Democrats to show up, they're absent. Nowhere to be seen, like the damn Homer Simpson meme. Slowly backing into the bush, slowly exiting the scene. Not exactly sure how that turned into a poem. It just kind of happened, but anyways, they go totally MIA. They're the loudest in the room to profess their virtue to the world, but when push comes to shove, they aren't there. And that's essentially what Kyrsten Sinema is saying, and the best example is the southern border. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so let's first start off with the context from Kyrsten Sinema. Here she is on CNN having a discussion with Jake Tapper on her frustration with the Democrat Party on the issue of the southern border.
And one of the big complaints I hear from conservatives, from Republicans, is Democrats just don't take border security seriously. They just don't. Do you agree with that sentiment? And do you think there is an actual path forward there? Democrats are still going to have the majority in the next Senate. You can still get this on the floor of the Senate if you want.
Well, as a native Arizonan who was born and raised near the southern border, I can tell you unequivocally that the federal government has failed its duty in the last 40 years.
Not just Democrats.
It's just everyone. The federal government has failed here. And places like Arizona, front lines of this crisis, have been paying the price every single day since then. So for us, this isn't just a talking point of Team A versus Team B. This is our life every day. The reality is that when folks say, you know, we've got to just provide a legal path to citizenship for dreamers, which I support wholeheartedly, these kids are Americans in all but name. So when folks say we've got to do that, I agree. And when folks say we've got to secure the border, of course I agree. You know, my state is suffering from the failure to do so for 40 years. So this is a perfect example of why I'm so frustrated with partisanship that has gripped our nation, and the parties are pulling folks away. It's not either or, it's and. Both of those concerns are real and valid, and we as a government have a duty to solve both of those concerns.
Quote, Democrats just don't take border security seriously. They just don't. And she's right. She's right about that, and she's right about the partisanship as well. A lot of people, especially the both sides people, would say, well, that exists on both sides. But on many of these issues, it doesn't. Republicans have showed countlessly that they care about a lot of these issues. Democrats, they just don't. If Donald Trump says something, if he takes a stand, or if he makes a point, the left side will run away as far as humanly possible and go in the complete opposite direction. You know, the meme that people generally bring up, Donald Trump said, "Oh, my oxygen, beautiful oxygen. I love that beautiful O." Or rather, O2, oxygen gas, which is what we breathe in the atmosphere. Well, then Democrats would just stop breathing. It seems impossible to find bipartisan solution with Democrats. On the issue of police reform, for instance, Republicans wanted to work with Democrats to pass a solid bill. I mention this all the time because it's something that just sticks in my memory. Tim Scott introduced a piece of legislation and then told Democrats, I will give you guys unlimited amendments. Make whatever changes you want to the bill, let's come to a compromise. Democrats not only shot down the bill, they shot down the conversation and didn't even propose a single amendment because they weren't interested. They weren't interested in a legislative victory involving both sides. Let's talk about bipartisanship. The most recent infrastructure bill, I think 12 or maybe 17, I think it was 17 if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, within that ballpark range, a significant portion of Republicans signed on to the bill even though there were issues with that bill and a bunch of pork Democrat spending because infrastructure good. When's the last time you saw that with Democrats? It just doesn't happen. And on an issue so incredibly important like the southern border, they just don't take it seriously. They don't care. Not sure if you guys are aware of this. You probably are. Joe Biden recently visited Arizona. There's still an ongoing border crisis. And with the potential ending of Title 42 coming right around the corner, it's most likely about to get much worse. Well, Joe Biden just visited Arizona but refused to even step foot near the southern border.
State and not visit the border. Because there's a more important thing going on. They're going to invest billions of dollars in a new enterprise.
Why would you visit our state and not visit the border? Sleepy Joe says, there are more important things going on. Like what? And especially in a border state like Arizona, the border crisis is one of the top issues. It's literally killing people. I can't show you guys any of the video content, but Project Veritas is working on a documentary of sorts, an investigative piece, covering the human tragedy going on at the southern border. I mean, truly tragic, sad, horrifying stuff. People's lives are being ruined. It's not just an issue, it's not just a problem, it's not just a small border crisis. It's a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions, and Democrats are totally absent. Oh, well, there's more important things to do, Jack. Listen, Corn Pop, we're trying to get this genderless bathroom bill passed in the Senate. Here's some more cope from Democrat Representative Debbie Dingell.
Would you like to see him visit the border?
I don't care if he visits the border or not. He doesn't need to visit the border to know we've got a problem. He's got people that report to him every day about what the problem is. And sometimes we fixate on these little issues. Do you think the president doesn't know we got a problem at the border and what the issues are? I know he does.
But not necessary to see it firsthand. That's a little issue?
I think he knows it's got to be addressed. He's gotten the reports. He's seen the photos. So that's, at some point, he may or may not go, but I think he knows what's got to get fixed, and you've seen him begin that process.
Oh, well, he doesn't have to go because he's seen photos. Like what? Photos of children in cages from the Obama administration that you absolute clowns tried pinning on Donald Trump? These people are unbelievable. It's nothing but excuse after excuse after excuse. Who remembers this convenient excuse from sleepy, creepy, piss pants, poopy pants Joe Biden?
Do you have plans to visit the southern border?
I've been there before, and I haven't. I mean, I know it well. I guess I should go down, but the whole point of it is I haven't had a whole hell of a lot of time to get down. I've been spending time going around looking at the $900 billion worth of damage done by hurricanes and floods and weather and traveling around the world.
Biden hasn't gone to the southern border because he just hasn't had any time. Meanwhile, reality, Biden takes heat for spending 40% of his days in office, quote, on vacation. I mean, it seems like every single week, especially during the summer, Joe Biden's riding his bike.
Is China helping Russia yet? Yeah, I have. You have? Who is it? Who is it?
This guy is on perpetual vacation, yet he doesn't have the time to visit the southern border. And when he actually goes to Arizona, well, it's just not important enough. He has other things that take precedent, in Arizona of all places, that are just more important than the southern border, even though Democrats themselves in the state are constantly slamming him and slamming the Democrat establishment over their silence and inaction on this exact issue. Mark Kelly has criticized Joe Biden's border policies on countless occasions. And who knows, maybe this most recent visit to Arizona, completely ignoring and dismissing the southern border crisis, is the straw that broke the camel's back for Kyrsten Sinema, leading to her exit of the Democrat Party. They're just not genuine. In fact, I think it's a whole lot worse than that. They're actively sinister, malicious, and manipulative. They use these issues as political tokens, for instance, like they do with children all the time, or different racial and identity groups. But when it really comes down to it, when it comes down to doing the right thing and taking these issues seriously, they are nowhere to be found. And you know what? I've made that point so many different times. We've gone into great detail over all of these issues. I don't feel like I got to do it again. You guys get it. The Democrats are as fake as it gets. There's nothing genuine. It's all a facade. It's all a mask. It's all on surface level. The reality behind the scenes, behind all the issues, is they just don't care. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.